And you look at Conor after that leg break, he got fucking jacked.
Ripped.
Just gigantic. Like 200 plus pounds, it looks like. Just huge fucking shoulders. And that's generally not the result of natural hormones.
Conor McGregor has finally broken the silence the MMA world didn't even realize it had been waiting for. After years of chaos, distractions, injuries, doubts, scandals, and the kind of public downfall that only a global superstar could survive, the most unpredictable man in combat sports is suddenly looking more dangerous, more disciplined, and more focused than he has been since the night he knocked Jose Aldo out in 13 seconds, shaking the entire sport to its core. What makes this moment so electric is that nobody saw it coming. While fans assumed McGregor was spiraling deeper into the lifestyle that had consumed so many legends before him, he was doing something completely unexpected for the loudest man in the UFC. He was working in silence.
The White House. Are you excited about this? I mean, have you thought about it? I mean, it's a pretty cool thing.
I'm ecstatic that Mac is back. And what better event than to grace the White House lawn for a straightener? What I do best. I'm very, very excited, very eager, very motivated. Bring it on, baby.
Do you think that's when you maybe come back? I mean, what about comeback for you as far as fighting?
I'm very happy that it's in June. It was on in July. Now it's a month earlier. Even better. Bring it to April. Why not? Let's celebrate the birthday early. I celebrate my birthday months in advance.
So we could potentially see maybe possibly White House Conor McGregor.
That's a definitely. That's
awesome.
For sure. That's my event.
That is your event. That is.
Sure.
Conor McGregor at the White House.
It's over, bro.
It's over for him?
It's over, dog.
He made too much money, huh?
He made way. Went from plummet to making. He sold that liquor for what? 500 million? It's too much.
Right. He got 100 million for fighting.
Then he was like nothing. Him and Khabib did 2.5 million pay-per-view.
I have 8 months and change out to the White House event. It's a 6-month operation to get ready for this bout. And that's my focus right now. I'm just eager to climb the steps into being ready.
Behind closed doors, away from the noise, the headlines, and the circus that had consumed his life, Conor McGregor rebuilt himself from the ground up. The late-night tweets stopped. The parties disappeared. The chaos that once defined him faded into the background. In its place emerged a version of McGregor that is terrifying the entire MMA community, a version that looks bigger, cleaner, sharper, more explosive, and more committed than anyone imagined possible after the injury that nearly ended his career. Even Joe Rogan, a man who has criticized McGregor in the past, has completely changed his tune, calling it one of the craziest turnarounds he's ever seen in a fighter's mindset. Rogan sees the behind-the-scenes footage, the power, the precision, the physical transformation, that doesn't feel like a comeback attempt, but a mission. He sees a man who has finally silenced the noise that destroyed his prime and stepped back into the darkness where true killers are made.
This is me, Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler and myself have done the show, The Ultimate Fighter. We've had a good back and forth. He's a good, tough guy. And, you know, the Mac is excited to get back for sure. What better way to come back than such an iconic event? Done deal, signed, delivered. It ain't a negotiation.
Wow.
It's a done deal, signed, delivered. McGregor will compete in the White House alongside the President Trump's administration. I believe I have a 6-month operation ahead of me to get ready for this, to put on one hell of a show for the American people in celebration of their great birthday, 250 years of independence, incredible business together. And the highest generating fighter of all time in the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
McGregor has gotten himself to a point where he's, you know, he is and will be, whether he stops fighting or not, one of the biggest superstars in sports, period. And he's gotten to a level of success in his life. He has to, I think, be motivated by something. He's accomplished everything, and especially financially. And now he's got to find something that truly motivates him to want to come back and do this again.
Yeah.
I don't know if the White House is it, but...
Anyway, speaking of the White House card, Conor McGregor was at the Bare Knuckle show in Manchester. And earlier in the week, last week that is, the boys talked about this, him putting out the tweet that he wanted 100 million to fight on the card, including the 100 US, quote, golden visas for himself and his family and friends. So he wants 100 milli, and then he was asked about this at the Bare Knuckle show. Here's what he had to say.
Yes, let's go.
Donald agreed to the terms for White House card.
You know, I'm not negotiating with the UFC on behalf of myself for this fight, like usual. I'm negotiating with the United States of America on behalf of Ireland for this fight. So it's a peculiar one. But Trump and the administration have been fully supportive and backing, and I cannot wait
Should John
to put on the show. Yeah.
What do you think of Canelo Crawford?
Okay, so that's fascinating. He's saying that he is negotiating with the United States government Now, who is actually going to pay him in the end?
And all of this is building toward the most bizarre, historic, headline-shattering event the UFC has ever attempted, the UFC White House card. A card that Dana White wants to stack with names so huge they create a cultural earthquake. And Conor McGregor sits right at the top of that list. Because no matter how big the UFC becomes, there is still nobody who can headline an event like McGregor. After years of drifting, he now looks like a man desperate to reclaim the throne he once walked away from. The question is simple: who does he fight? Some want Michael Chandler, because the story has been brewing for years and the footage already looks like a Hollywood promo. Others believe Dana White might go rogue and throw McGregor into something monstrous, a headline slot that shakes the sport. A McGregor main event at the White House would mark the biggest political and sporting crossover in UFC history, and Dana knows it. But while McGregor is rebuilding his legacy, another man is desperately trying to jump onto the same stage, Jon Jones. The problem is that Jones has burned so many bridges, pulled out of countless moments, and frustrated Dana White so many times, even in the UFC's biggest opportunity ever.
If Trump says yes, I think you should get $100 million to fight on this card. Who's actually cutting that check? This is fascinating stuff. What a journey it's going to be to get to this card in June of 2026. $100 million seems like a little bit outside of the UFC's typical. I don't know. Actually, you know what? With the new TV deal and the double, rights fee raise, maybe everyone is going to be making that kind of money.
I don't know about everybody, but I think Conor McGregor can command it.
Yeah. Do you guys think that Trump and his team are going to say we want these people on this card?
Yes.
Yeah. So do I.
Yep. It's a
which is why
a representation for the U.S.
Right.
Which is why I keep going back on the don't they want Americans to go over? I don't we keep having these fantasy cards, but I do feel like there has to be an indication.
I don't think they care about the result. I think they just care about who's on the card.
I think they want and all the Americans just get dusted. I don't think that goes over hot.
Chandler, McGregor, this is Canada.
Let's say Chandler loses
versus Ireland, and it's the biggest star in the history of the sport. At that point, you can't worry about that stuff. I just think they want to have the big. This is when Donald Trump was the owner of the Trump Taj Mahal and all this stuff. He wanted the biggest fights. This is his version of a fight card in 1988.
What's the biggest fight there is? What ingredients need to go into the biggest fight there is? Like if you had an open checkbook or you had the magic wand, and I'm not asking you to put two people together. I'm not asking you to bring in the biggest draw in the business, Chael Sonnen, and put me opposite somebody. I'm asking, aside from the names, what would you need to put the biggest fight on? You want to know where this is coming from? The story that Conor McGregor is being talked to headline the White House card. I don't buy it. I can't buy it. Why are we would be turning to Conor McGregor? And the answer is also out there because he is the sport's biggest star. That is true. So is that what you need? If you've got the open checkbook and you've got the magic wand, without saying names, do you say, I'm going to put as my main event the sport's biggest star? Is that your answer? Does it matter who he's fighting? What if it's a championship match? You have an open checkbook and you have a magic wand and you don't use any names, but you're going to put the championship on. Would you say heavyweight? Would you say women's 135? Would you say wherever Kazmat Chimaev's at? How is it that you would answer that question? And then what if you're really going to go for a big fight? What if you really follow this for a long time? You're going to do what we used to call a super fight, but now we call it title versus title. You're going to take the champion of a weight class and you're going to put them with another champion of a weight class. Your A side and your B side are both going to be champions. You don't get to use names. But that's the ingredients you need to bring the biggest card ever. And it's one of the reasons that I'm struggling with the idea that McGregor is being penciled in the middle of 2025 for a card that sits dead center in the middle of 2026 at a venue yet to be built for tickets that are yet to be on sale. I struggle with it because we're openly saying if we're going to put Conor on there that there's no title. Unless you believe that Conor McGregor is going...
Dana wants nothing to do with him. Jones craves that spotlight. Jones wants that moment in front of the world. Jones wants the prestige that comes with fighting on the most unique card ever created. But Dana remembers every inconvenience, every postponement, every failed negotiation, and the absolute disaster Jones caused by refusing the Tom Aspinall fight. Right now, Conor McGregor looks like the superstar who has finally earned Dana's trust again, while John Jones looks like the superstar who lost it forever. This contrast is what makes the storyline so powerful. McGregor, the man who once seemed like the UFC's biggest problem, is becoming its biggest asset again. Jones, the man who once looked like the greatest fighter alive, is becoming the sport's biggest liability. McGregor is rising. Jones is fading. And the White House card is shaping up as the dividing line between the fighters Dana White believes in and the ones he's done babysitting. As summer approaches, the UFC isn't just preparing for a historic event, it's preparing for a McGregor comeback that could reshape the entire landscape of the sport. The community feels it. Rogan feels it. Even fighters who once dismissed him feel it. This is not the McGregor who lost his way. This is the version who built himself in silence and emerged from the shadows looking like a man ready to reclaim everything he once threw away. And if he headlines the White House card, the sport will never be the same.